when I tell people that I do pediatric palliative care, people always ask me about end of life conversations and goals of care conversations. And that actually is not, to me, the hardest part of our job. It is hard, um, but it's mostly hard because we don't give families the space and the language to be able to share what is best for their child. I think once you do that, the families will lead the way. The hardest part for the job to me is care coordination. And I talk to the residents about this all the time, like palliative care is improving quality of life. And a lot of things that significantly contributes to a poor quality of life for families and patients is the lack of coordination of resources when they are discharged. When they're in the hospital, yes, they may have to go through some hard stuff. Yes, we may be talking about trach G-tube shunts. We may be giving bad news. There may be lots of ups and downs, but we're all there working together, trying to hopefully improve our communication. But when they leave, most families are not set up for success. And it's not because we're not trying to do the best we can, it's because we live in a system that does not prioritize continuity of care and priority of care for families who are navigating multiple complex healthcare needs. And so one of the things that I hear at least once or twice a week is a family talking about how hard it is to coordinate all the appointments, or a family that's on the phone with their insurance company trying to get the DME. These are families who we got approval in the hospital for. But once you go home, you may not have a complex healthcare clinic where everything is there. Where I live, you may have to come to the medical center several times. It's $20 to park every time you come here, and you got to see GI, you got to see pulmonology, you got to see peds. I mean, of course you want your child to see. We try to leverage telehealth, but sometimes you need to come in. Some families have to have an ambulance transport. Who coordinates that? Some families have to even pay out of pocket because they weren't made aware in the hospital that their child is going to have complex healthcare needs, and they need to be applying for the waiver now. It's like a 2-year wait list. Like, you need it now. It has nothing to do with your insurance now. Your kid is going to qualify for this, and you need this now. So one of the things that we have been trying to do a better job, particularly for families that are going home with trach G-tube, because that initial conversation is, we're in a different place than we were. We don't think that we're going to be able to extubate or stay extubated. Your kid needs a trach. The whole conversation is about the trach. Your kid's getting a trach. Nobody is talking about, well, what about when I get home? What about nursing may not be available? What about I may have to quit my job? I mean, nobody's talking about that. And so just trying to have a initial conversation that includes case management and social work. At the same time, we're forecasting that the child may need a trach, so people can have a chance to think about it. And one of the complaints that we get from families is we talk about nursing in the hospital, but we don't talk about we have a huge shortage of pediatric nurses. And we don't talk about you may qualify for nursing on paper. That actually doesn't mean you're going to get nursing. That just means that you qualify on paper. I mean, and sometimes people have to choose. Okay, in my life, I'll just take the night. I know I can't get 24-hour nursing. I'm going to do nights. Okay, well, we'll take the weekends because then maybe we can have a respite and do something with our kids. Somebody's going to have to stay at home. Somebody's going to have to do this. Your second caregiver, you both may be working. Well, the grandparents or the friends may not be comfortable taking care of a trach. Are you even comfortable? Somebody actually said to me, a parent said to me, I'm not comfortable leaving my kid with anybody, not even the nurses. And so that changes your whole. So it's something I hear at least once or twice a week. One of the challenges is we used to have case managers and social workers. And in many hospitals, that position has been consolidated. The social worker and the case manager are like the same person. That's a lot of work. If we previously thought it needed to be two separate jobs, and kids are even more complex now, why do we think that it's okay to be one job? And then one other thing we have concerns about is we just had a family that actually had to be readmitted just because the coordination of care was such a disaster. The mom was like, it was easier for me to just come to the ER, get my child admitted because I couldn't get the DME, I couldn't get the oxygen, I couldn't, because her insurance had changed in between when he was discharged. And so the previous insurance was covering, the new insurance was covering part of it, but not the rest of it. And She had concurrent hospice. They didn't understand hospice, so they had said you don't qualify. She literally had to bring her child back to the hospital, and she did not want to be in the hospital. And she talked about having to call all these insurance companies, fill out all these forms, talk to so many people. It took our team, and we had a lot more people working on it. It even took our team 3 weeks to get it sorted out so she could go home with everything covered. And so I think one of the ways that we all can maybe think about this problem is that we will have to advocate for more policy-making decisions to kind of streamline. If you know the at admission that a child is going to have a complex healthcare condition, like 3 or more conditions, go home with technology, we need to be telling families right then about the waiver. And sometimes we only do that for families in different brackets, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your bracket. And I have had families come back to me later and say, I could have started on this in the NICU. You know, it's 6 months later, and I need this to be, you know, established by the time my child is a year. And so just trying to do a better job of, we should have a streamlined approach for all families who have children that have this diagnosis. And people can pick and choose what they want to do or not, but it shouldn't be that they didn't even know it was an option. And I think we also have to be transparent about the pediatric nursing shortage. That, like, we have a big recruitment for pediatricians to take care, or pediatricians or practitioners to take care of children with that complex healthcare needs. But like, we need some pediatric nurses. Like, we need some home health. We need to increase all of that, and we need to stop medicalizing these children who families really they want to be doing their life. They want their child to have the best quality of life, which in general is away from our hospital. And so how can we do that? I know for my team, one of the things we're trying to do is a better job of telehealth contacts in between admissions.